Today's show discusses secondary sources and cases, but before we get going too far on that, a little bit of review. Recall that you can pull up a case by typing in the citation and then clicking on the name of the case. And this case is Dilly. I noticed nobody says Dilly Dilly anymore, so there's a quick nod to that old meme. Remembering that West writes the synopsis and the headnotes that can help you understand what's going on in the case, that will connect you to the relevant statutes, and also link you to the key numbers, which you can use to update your research on either a very general point of law or a very specific one. So all that is nothing new. And what I want to focus on today are the citing references, and you'll see them right over here. Some citing references can be negative citing references, as when a court says, we overrule the holding in Dilly, and you can see where that would show up. You would see that there would be negative treatment. Sometimes those citing references can result in a yellow flag where they say, we like the rule, we're just going to apply a different one. And you'd see that over there. But for our purposes today, I want to talk about citing references in general, because that's a pretty rare instance where a court says, we have a problem with what the other court has said. I mean, stare decisis being what it is. Under citing references, I want to check out practical law in this list here. Practical law is written by a bunch of rock star attorneys who have left the practice at some of the world's largest law firms, corporate law departments, and government agencies. Their full-time job with Westlaw is to crank out these lists of best practices, checklists, model forms to help you get up to speed faster. Notice as well that the treatment of this issue is very high with this item, and it is less high with the other ranked items that are further down on the list. So if you were to click on that, you'll see why this is so valuable. So why start your research with practical law or other secondary sources? I'll give you 3 reasons because this is a quiz question. The first reason is because it connects you to primary law. Primary law like cases like Noble, primary law like the statute that governs non-competes in Colorado. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is that a secondary source connects you to other resources that will help you do the thing, like forms or checklists or other sources. And I can't spell other, pardon me there. The third reason is because a secondary source like practical law takes you through step by step what you need to know in order to do the thing. Like maybe once you've decided that your non-compete is reasonable, then you need to think about what sort of remedies you can get. And before you think about whether it's enforceable because the restrictions are reasonable, you need to think about all the other stuff that comes before it. And you can see that this is way easier than derping a whole bunch of words into the big bar up there, finding some random stuff, and then having to connect all the dots by yourself. That's why they say start with secondary sources, and that's why starting with practical law can be so meaningful and awesome. And oh, what's this? All your favorite buttons from Westlaw, like saving things to folders or adding notes, are totally over there along this right-hand side in practical law, because once you save things to folders, you might maybe even want to create a new one and call it non-compete. When you save it over here, it will be waiting for you the next time you work on this project. But wait, there's more. Remember that if you open up your folders from that big blue West Search menu over there, and then you open up a subfolder like this one, you can create the exclusive research report that outlines your work. So why make a research report? Well, you already went through all the hassle of foldering that item, of finding text to highlight, of adding your notes and mental impressions. So why not get those things all together in one document so that way you can organize it, print it, and use it to make your writing, your arguing, and your other work product go smoother and faster. Keeping in mind that if you're following along right now, go back to the history and open up Dilly Dilly again right over here. And keeping in mind that from that citing references, you'll not just see practical law, which we just saw, but also secondary sources. That list of secondary sources, if you scroll through the first couple articles, which were law reviews, you'll see something called Colorado practice. Many states have practice guides that are published by West that are fantastic. And you'll see why. Because again, plain language explanations of the primary law, links to other resources on Westlaw, and an entire chapter on how to do the thing. Noticing it again, because this is totally a quiz question. Links to relevant primary law in the footnotes, if you just mouse it over, number 1, number 2, etc. Links to relevant other content on Westlaw, and links to everything else that you need to know in order to do the thing. You can, of course, access Colorado Practice Series by typing in the name of the source and then clicking on it. Notice where you are now inside Colorado Practice. You can search all 18 volumes with that general language search and then hitting on that button over there. Checking it out as well, that this also links you to the same section. I really like practical law. How do I get to it? I'm glad you asked. Check out that logo box in the upper left-hand corner. There's a drop-down wedge, and you can pick practical law. And of course, you could use the general language search. You could use that big box search. But first, before you do, make sure your jurisdiction is correct. I'm going to click on all federal right up there in the white. And I'm just going to check the box that says Colorado. If you're working with federal statutes and cases that might also apply to your fact pattern, that's the button to click over there. Here we're just looking at the Colorado state statute and state cases. When you're done, hit save. And of course, you can derp some words into the top box there. It'll connect you to some cases. Looks like the fourth one in that list is dilly dilly, so you can see, again, Westlaw's connecting the dots for you. You will see those key numbers that we love so much. You'll see that statute down there that's part of the chapter that deals with non-competes. You'll see links to content from practical law. And of course, you'll also see secondary sources. And because there are a lot of them, you've got that option to view all 688 and then filter with the menu along that left-hand side. Now you're ready to take the quiz, but before I let you loose on that, what I want you to do is when you finish with the quiz, download today's handout. It is a research report from Westlaw, but rather than lots and lots of notes, there's lots and lots of stuff that you could check out and use to jumpstart your research, and that's not all. Plenty of other things I'd love to teach you, so drop me a line from the lawschool.tr.com site. Happy researching, and thanks for watching.